Hello, in this video we're going to talk about the find method, and this is going to be incredibly helpful for a lot of things you're doing. So imagine I have a spreadsheet and it's got way more than 3 columns. Like here we just have 3 columns, but for instance in my own job I have an export sheet that exports like 120 columns. And for the things that I'm doing with it, I really only need about 10 of them. Those other 110 are just kind of there for other people that might need that information or whatever. But I'm sure you've probably run into this where you get something and you really just need to cut it down or find the column you're looking for and move that one over, stuff like that. So let's talk about how we would do that and why we would do that and so forth like that with kind of a simple example here. I've only got 3 columns, but hopefully you'll get the gist of it from that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to dim something. We're going to call it find defined as a range. Now you might think that dimming it as a range is basically just going to say find, like for instance, if you look down here, I'm going to set find defined as rows 1, so this, and then I'm going to find where it equals square. And so that's in this row. So you might think that range is just going to be C1 and that's it, but it's not. It's going to be so much more information than that. Now, so we'll hit F8. We'll hit F8. Now we set find defined. Alright, so if you click on this, this is all the properties it copied once it found the thing we were looking for. So you can see, for instance, it's in column 3 over here. That column width is 20. Some of these, the formula is just its text square. But these are all the properties that could be part of a range. So it sort of saves them all. And like here's the row, it's in row 1. The row height is 30. Anyway, so it did that. So if we hit our next thing, find defined.select, you're going to see that it goes to that place it found it. Now, let's go back for a minute. If you see where I put XL whole, I'm going to copy this over here, and we'll just do this again, I guess. So let's say this, we have square root, and this is square. If I go set find and I wanted to find square as XL whole, you can see it made it column 4 now over here. It skipped over this. The reason it skipped over this is because we made it look at XL whole. If we had made it XL part, I'll go back and we run it again, you can see now it makes it column 3. So in this particular case, we said go find square. If it's just in the cell, then give me that. Because if part of the cell has square in it, give me that. And it found the first one. Obviously, in theory, it could have found both, but it's starting from left to right. So this can kind of work if you're trying to find the first instance of something, but you got to kind of think about that. If you were going to try and find something and you knew it was written in there 5 times, it's only going to find the first one this way. So bear that in mind. But let's go back and we'll say XL whole again. Oops. So we're going to find our thing. So this is in column 4. Now, we select it. See, like if I go anywhere, I go back here, I hit select, it's going to go to that range. Now, what can I do with all this information down here? Well, it also, you can see if you plus out the font, it gives you all this information about the font. And what if I said, well, okay, I know that the sheet I'm going to get is going to have a special font for the cell that says square, and I want to copy that font to here. Well, I could say cells 1 which is this one, font name equal to findyfinds font name. So if I do that, you can see it just changed the font to match that. So that's why it saves all, or that's how you can use all that extra information it has down here. There's so much more to be done than just knowing what cell it's in. But anyway, so now let's say you wanted to rearrange everything, and so you want, if you want to go find, like, remember if I go back to my example where I have an Excel export that has like 120 columns, and I only want like 10 out of them. So maybe I want to take those 10 out, put them up front, and then delete the rest of them. So I could do find, and I find my square column, and then I cut it, and then I insert it up front. So I'm going to insert it to column 1, and then move those left over to the right. And so you can see it moved it over. So anyway, that's how you can use the find method. This is going to be a huge help when you're doing stuff. And as a general rule to think about, if you are going to do something and you know that there's any chance that the cell you're looking for is going to move, you want to use the find function. You don't want to use an absolute reference. In other words, findyfind was column D. I could have just moved column D to column A, but if there's any chance whatsoever that that column could be some other place in the next iteration of that document you're going to modify, use the find method instead. Find that column by its header, and then use that going forward as a variable. So hope this helps, and on to the next video.